For a few electric minutes in Washington, it looked like Alex Eala might be building toward the biggest comeback of her career. Then Mother Nature slammed the brakes on everything. The 21-year-old Filipina star had already produced a week that almost nobody saw coming, fighting her way into the championship match of the nearly $1.64 million Mubadala DC Open after knocking out Olympic gold medalist Qinwen Zhang, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Alina Svitolina, and four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. Now only Jessica Pegula, the world number 3 and top seed, stood between Eala and her first WTA-level singles title. Pegula had taken the opening set 6-4, but Eala wasn't going anywhere. She broke early in the second, grabbed a 2-1 lead, and suddenly the energy inside the stadium began to shift. The crowd could feel it. Eala was starting to settle in. Then the rain came down, lightning moved into the area, and play was suspended. Eventually, tournament officials called off the rest of Sunday's action and moved the championship match to Monday, August 3, at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So now the question hanging over the entire tennis world is simple: can Alex Eala pick up exactly where she left off? Today on Top Spin, we're breaking down the suspension, the score, the mental battle created by the delay, and what all of this could mean for one of the most remarkable runs of the 2026 season. And if you want more tennis stories like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. From the moment Eala and Pegula walked onto the court, this final had everything you could ask for. On one side was Pegula, the experienced American favorite, a proven WTA champion who came into Washington as the top seed. On the other was Eala, a 21-year-old rising star carrying the hopes of millions of Filipino fans around the world. The opening set was competitive from the jump. Eala found an early opening and pushed ahead 4-3, giving the crowd a glimpse of the fearless tennis that had carried her through the draw. But Pegula did what elite players do. She stayed calm. She absorbed the pressure, broke Eala back, and slowly turned the set in her favor. With her consistency, clean ball striking, and experience in big moments, Pegula closed out the opening set 6-4. But losing that set didn't break Eala's confidence. If anything, her response in the second showed exactly why she had become one of the biggest stories of the tournament. She immediately put pressure on Pegula's serve, earned the break, and moved ahead 1-0. Both players then held, leaving Eala in front 2-1 when the weather suddenly became the biggest factor in the match. Rain began falling, lightning was detected nearby, and officials were forced to clear the court. It couldn't have happened at a more fascinating moment because Eala had finally started gaining traction. Her returns were becoming more aggressive, her movement looked sharp, and the momentum that had belonged to Pegula after the first set was starting to feel less secure. For Eala, that's what made the interruption so frustrating. She had spent the entire week building confidence match after match, and now she had to leave the court just as she appeared to be finding another gear. But delays like this aren't just about waiting around. At the professional level, they become a mental competition of their own. Players have to cool down, refuel, stay loose, talk strategy with their teams, and then somehow recreate the emotional intensity they had before the interruption. That can be incredibly difficult. Eala had been playing some of the strongest tennis of her career, but Pegula had every reason to welcome the opportunity to reset. The American had already shown throughout the week that she could survive difficult situations. In the semifinal against Diana Schneider, Pegula found herself down 5-2 in the first set before completely flipping the match and winning 7-5, 6-4. That comeback was another reminder of why she entered the final as the favorite. She knows how to solve problems on the fly. She knows how to stay patient when things aren't going her way. And with 11 WTA singles titles already on her resume entering the final, pressure is nothing new to her. But Eala didn't arrive at this stage by accident. Her road through Washington had been brutal. She opened against Olympic champion Qinwen Zhang and rallied from a set down to win 4-6, 6-4, 6-1. Then came defending champion Leylah Fernandez, another dangerous opponent who had already beaten Eala earlier in the season. This time Eala turned the tables, taking the match 6-2, 7-6, and fighting back from a difficult position in the second set. In the quarterfinals, she took out Svitolina again, adding another elite name to a growing list of victories. And then came Naomi Osaka. 4 Grand Slam titles. Former world number 1. one of the most recognizable players in the sport. Eala didn't just survive that semi-final. She controlled it, winning 6-4, 6-2 in just 76 minutes to reach her first WTA 500 final. That is the player Pegula is dealing with. A player who has repeatedly shown that rankings and reputations don't scare her. The weather had already caused problems before the championship match even began. Sunday's final was delayed for roughly 3 hours before Eala and Pegula finally got onto the court. After play was suspended again during the second set, organizers initially hoped the action might restart later in the evening. Fans waited. Players waited. Tournament officials monitored the radar. But eventually the decision came down: no more tennis Sunday night. Safety had to come first. The Women's Championship would resume Monday at noon Eastern, with the men's final scheduled to follow. That means Eala now gets something she desperately needed after playing so many high-pressure matches in such a short span: additional recovery time. She had been through a demanding week physically and emotionally. Her body had been pushed through long rallies, difficult momentum swings, and the stress of facing one big name after another. An overnight break could allow her legs to recover. But there's another side to it. Momentum in tennis can disappear fast. Eala had just broken Pegula and was ahead 2-1 in the second set. She had the crowd behind her. She had started asking Pegula new questions. Now she has to walk back onto the court the next day and recreate that same intensity almost from scratch. Pegula gets the same opportunity. She can sit down with her team, study what changed early in the second set, and figure out how to attack Eala when the match resumes. That turns the delay into something close to a tactical timeout on steroids. Pegula knows she is one set ahead. She doesn't have to panic. She only needs to regain the break, control her service games, and prevent Eala from turning the match into a deciding third set. Eala's mission is completely different. She has to protect that early break and keep attacking. She cannot afford to become passive simply because the title is suddenly within sight. That fearless approach has been the foundation of her entire run. Earlier in the tournament, Eala explained her mentality in simple terms: there is always a chance to win, there is always a chance to lose, so the goal is to focus on what she can control and give everything she has. That mindset matters even more now. Rain delays create uncertainty, and uncertainty can make a player overthink everything. Eala has to avoid that trap. She doesn't need to think about the trophy. She doesn't need to think about becoming the first Filipino player to accomplish another historic milestone. She needs to think about the next return, the next serve, the next rally. Pegula has also been respectful of what Eala has become. Before the final, she acknowledged how much the Filipina had improved, pointing to her increased experience and development as a player. And that sets up the perfect contrast when play resumes: Pegula's experience against Eala's fearless rise. One player knows what these championship situations feel like. The other is discovering just how far her game can take her. And when we step back from the score for a moment, that may be the biggest story of all. Eala entered Washington ranked around world number 28, and what she has done over the past several months has completely changed expectations. At Wimbledon, she became the first Filipina to be seeded in a Grand Slam singles draw. Then she defeated defending champion Iga Swiatek on center court and became the first player from the Philippines in the Open era to reach the second week of a major. Now, only weeks later, she is sitting in a WTA 500 championship match against the world number 3. This isn't one random upset anymore. This is becoming a pattern. Eala is proving that she can compete with some of the biggest names in women's tennis across different tournaments, different surfaces, and different types of pressure. And through all of it, she has tried to remain grounded. Earlier in Washington, she made it clear that success hasn't changed the way she sees herself. She knows who she is, she knows where she came from, and she continues to represent the Philippines with enormous pride. That connection is a major reason crowds react to her the way they do. Filipino fans aren't simply watching another promising athlete. They're watching someone break through barriers that once seemed almost impossible for tennis in the Philippines. Every major win creates another first. Every deep tournament run expands the possibilities. And now she is staring at perhaps the biggest opportunity yet. Pegula still leads the match. She won the opening set. She remains the favorite, and Eala still has a mountain to climb. But the story is far from over. When these two players return to the court, Eala will begin with a 2-1 advantage in the second set and a chance to force this championship into an entirely new direction. The rain may have stopped the match, but it didn't end the fight. Washington will be watching. The tennis world will be watching. And millions of fans across the Philippines will be watching every single point. Alex Eala has spent this entire tournament proving that she belongs in moments exactly like this. Now comes the hardest part, finishing the job. Whatever happens when the final resumes, her run in Washington has already announced something loud and clear to the rest of the WTA Tour. Alex Eala isn't waiting for the future anymore. She's arriving right now. For more tennis coverage and the latest updates on this championship match, subscribe to Top Spin and turn on the notification bell.